Everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net, and it is Wednesday the 15th of January. Thanks again for watching. Got to slip into some cooler weather during the coming days, show you more about that in just a moment. But what I thought we'd do today as well is just have a quick scoot round, look where we are in terms of mean temperatures at the moment. We'll take a look at sea ice, at the sun, etc. So we'll just have a bit of a wander around and see what's going on. We've got some rain to come during the course of tonight for most of us. This is the cold front that's moving its way eastwards at the moment. This is fairly fragmented. You see a hole there, but it's going to get its act together during the course of the night. Some pretty heavy rain coming into Wales, southwest England now, and also into the west of Scotland. This tracking east could put down 5 to 8 millimetres overnight, maybe an odd crack of thunder in there as well. You see the orange and red colours in there indicating the chance of catching some thunder. And of course we don't need that much to cause more flooding now, do we? So just something to be aware of. It's not going to be drastic, it's going to be localised flooding, but still we're going to see some flooding nonetheless. And then it's pretty mixed really through the course of the coming days. Most rain always towards the west and the south, drier across central and eastern areas. Looks as if there could be a little bit of fog around as well through Sunday, possibly into Monday, Tuesday of next week. This is the GFS ensemble temperatures for the next 15 days, and just notice here these red colours look just drifting off. Been showing this for some time now, and really now is the time that we start to see this fall off in temperatures. Do you notice there how much cooler it is by next week? We're looking at some daytime temperatures going from 10s during the course of today and tomorrow, probably down to nearer 5s and 6s into next week. So it's a cooler feel to things, but notice the green colours there indicating rainfall, showing that it probably stays fairly unsettled. GFS shows the fall in temperature, the ECMWF showing that too. This is the operational, the 850 temperatures, which give us a good idea of trends at the surface. You see those two dying off during the next 10 days. Also the mean of the ensemble showing that as well from the ECMWF. In fact, the ensemble there is a little bit cooler than the operational. So this kind of pull off in temperatures has been seen to be there now through many of the model runs. This is the mean of the 500 millibar flow, and it's valid for day 7 to 10. So this is from next Wednesday through to Saturday. We've got the ECMWF here on the left, we've got the GFS here on the right, and little bit of a difference between the two, and I'll show you more about that difference in just a second, and why the model's really having difficulty handling this, because I've got a set of charts that just demonstrate it quite well. ECMWF building the ridge and the Atlantic look more. It's trying to open a door here for itself to get this ridge building into here. If that happens, and that managed to link through into here, that's our colder weather. But to be honest with you, this jet is so strong that actually it looks as if that's unlikely to take place. What it does do is it strengthens the trough through the UK look here, and compare that to the GFS look. It's not getting those heights, those abnormally high heights as far north. It's trying to bring in a straighter, stronger jet stream across the Atlantic, and hints at some really quite wet weather potentially by the end of next week, getting into parts of Ireland, perhaps across the far northwest of England and into Scotland. And it makes less of the trough across the UK. It tries to get the trough further eastwards and makes less of it across the UK. But just stick with the GFS ensemble for a minute, and this chart shows you, this is from PSU, it shows you how much difficulty the ensemble's having with this, because these are the members of the ensemble, so this is what actually goes in to produce the forecasts, and it's a hemispheric view. So we've got the US is under here, look, and we've got the UK, you can just about see it under there, but this is each of the various different members, their output for a week on Saturday 25th. And what to notice was that the GFS here, as I said, was building the ridge to the south, not making much of the trough. But if you look at each of these members here, look, you can see that they're trying to make more of the trough on several. Here, look, we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, 4. Well, no, we haven't got 5 there. We got 5 here, 6, 7. We got 7 of those members that actually tried to do pretty much what the ECMWF was trying to do there. So we've got 7 out of 12 members there trying to get that trough in, but the others build the higher than normal heights in more. So that's what we're seeing on here as the ensemble mean. But I think it's important to notice that how many of those members try to go to this idea of the ECMWF. That would make for unsettled conditions across the UK, but also potentially cooler conditions. And what we'd need to watch for is this ridge building in during the following week. And if we just go through to that following week using the PSU E-wall, and we'll go all the way through. Let's have a look. Let's go on a few more, shall we? Shall we go on to the Thursday? Why not go on to Thursday? And that one there, look, this is from the GFS ensemble. It quite strongly wants to build the ridge in on most of these runs. Most of the member runs there wants to get the ridge in, but there are a couple that try to bring that trough in as well. But they're all looking not particularly very wintry. They're all looking as if it's cooler and more unsettled, and probably we're going to be seeing rainfall above normal, but it's not to the there's no signs of winter actually being in place there just at the moment. So let's just look at what's been going on, and we'll take a broader view of things because we haven't done this for quite a while. This is the rolling mean of the CET temperatures from the Met Office, and this is quite interesting. Look, shows us this rise in temperature. Remember this, that was being much talked about during the 80s and 90s there, and then this fall off. The red line is the 5-year running mean. Interesting to note, look, each of these bars is a year, and notice that temperatures in 2013 they're provisionally shown as falling back to nearer the normal. So we've actually seen this fall off in temperatures again through 2013. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when the official stats come out. Sea ice looking like this at the moment. This is for the Arctic. So the grey line there is the mean of the 1981 to 2010 sea ice amounts. The sea ice extent of 2011 to 2012 is shown as this dotted line here. The sea ice for this year, so this is the extent of the sea ice this year, is shown as this blue line, and you see it's running very close there to the bottom line of the 2012 season. Compared to previous years, this is the ice extent from NORSEX, and black line here is 2013. The other line's coming in from 2007 being the lowest year here, you can see. And then in red here, if I just zoom in, the red line there is where we are this year so far in 2014. So we're below the monthly average, and we are kind of stacked in there pretty close to where we were this time last year, also pretty close to 2012. Temperatures, well, this is from the DMI, from the Dutch Met Institute. Arctic temperatures looking something like this. The red line is 2013, so these are the temperatures through 2013. The green line is mean temperature, and notice how through the last part of the year, look how temperatures in the Arctic have been above where they would normally be. Compare that to now 2014, quite a bit above as well. Look, we're well, that's a good 6 or 7 degrees above normal. Starting to fall off a little bit, but certainly much warmer than it has been. And this was the pattern in 2012. You see again, we saw much of the year being above normal. 2011 was very similar. 2010 showing similar figures. 2009 similar, and 2008. And in fact, if you go all the way back, look here, right the way through several years, you'll notice that really you need to go back to 2004 before you get close to the daily mean there of Arctic temperatures. This is the region north of 80 degrees north. Okay, on to the solar data, and we'll do a bit of a zoom in there so we can read this more easily. Solar data looking like this at the moment. The red line are the active sunspot numbers. and dates are running along the bottom here. You can see there how since October, look, sunspots numbers and activity on the sun has increased dramatically. It's increased really quite quickly there. We're seeing the most activity since we've seen from May last year. So we saw an increase in solar activity. Of course, this was the peaks that we were getting quite excited about, producing the potential for aurora. These are the active regions on the sun, the number of active regions by month. We're in cycle 24 at the moment, and you see that we're close to this peak that was shown for 24, but notice how quiet it is generally anyway, and you can see how these peaks from cycle 22, 23 down to 24 have been falling off. So yeah, that just gives you an idea, a roundup of where we are with things. As I say, we'll keep you updated on how things develop in terms of how cool it gets, but just doesn't look to be cold, doesn't look to be wintry. I think we're just going to be sticking with a very similar thing to what we've got now, apart from it's just going to be feeling a little bit cool. Of course, we'll keep our eye on rainfall totals for you. Okay, I've whittled on for long enough. Thanks again for watching. Weatherweb.net, and whatever you're doing, have a great day and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.